Are you relying on only social media to grow your business? Find out why that just might be a problem for you in this episode. Hey ladies, it's Amanda. Welcome to the Feel Amazing Naked podcast. This is a show where we dig deep, get honest, and talk about all the unsexy steps it takes to meet your goals. Whether you want to get fit, eat healthier, make more money, start a business, or any other results you desire in your life. Most of all, this podcast is for women who are ready to feel amazing naked on the outside and the inside. So ladies, time to take it off. Hello, ladies. Welcome to this week's episode. We're going to chat a little bit of business. And before we do, I just wanted to let you know I have a few spots open for one-to-one business coaching. This is a beautiful blend of mindset, overcoming some of those limiting beliefs about business that often keep us paralyzed, and a marriage of strategy. I love talking all things strategy. So if you are a business owner that knows there is a big future for you, maybe you're feeling stuck, you don't know how to keep growing, you want a steady stream of clients, maybe you're not sure how to implement systems and are looking to scale, I would love to support you. So go ahead and head on over to feelamazingnaked.com/let's chat, LETSCHAT. Set up a time to chat with me and we can make sure we are a great fit to help you get to the next level. Welcome, ladies, to the show. I hope this day finds you doing awesome. We're going to dive into a business-focused episode. Again, I love to highlight the business side of things, and you might find that these episodes, you're not an entrepreneur, you're not even thinking about it. I do think there's always some things to be learned that fall into the personal development side. And today we're talking about social media. So you might even find this a bit relevant for yourself, regardless of where you fall into the business spectrum. Today, I'm going to be talking about why social media cannot be your only business growth strategy. I think what looks to be common is that entrepreneurs in general are posting a lot on social media. Like if you hop onto the gram, for instance, and I use Instagram often as an example because it just happens to be a platform I enjoy being on. But it feels that it's common to utilize social media for growth. Some of the biggest companies do it. Maybe a lot of your friends that have businesses are doing it. I'm doing it, right? And so it feels that it's very common. Well, common doesn't necessarily mean right. Like we talked about last week's episode, or common doesn't necessarily mean normal. And so I think what happens is it appears on the outside that the social media is what is driving the business growth. And so today I want to talk about why that's not true. And it might feel like a lot of people are spending time on social media because they're creating all this content and they're releasing all this stuff and their following is growing and they have engagement. Inside my business, while I'm on there all the time, I actually don't spend that much time creating social media content because I've built out systems and tasks so that I minimize how much I actually show up on the platform because it's not my highest leverage action item for growth. And so if you are new to business, maybe you've been around in business for a long time and you're feeling like you don't have enough growth, today's discussion is for you because you might find it totally lands on your heart. I want to say this about social media, though. I agree. It's a great tool. It is an amazing tool to build connection with your audience, to build relationships, to interact with people you would have otherwise never been able to reach, never been able to meet. And most importantly, it does allow you to position yourself as an expert and build social proof. So you get to say, I know this thing about this. Then people decide, hey, I like what she's saying. I like what she's offering. I like her posture. I like what she's speaking. I would like more of her. So they get to opt in. So they're choosing to be in front of you, which is a really important part of the conversation, right? I don't know about you, but I choose intentionally, especially in today's world. It also allows you to build social proof. Like it or not, when you hop into an account that has 600 followers versus 6,000 versus 66,000, there's a little like, oh, that happens for all of us because in the society that we live in, for a lot of us on the surface, we're like, wow, the 66,000 follower person has more to offer than the 6,000 than the 600. I'll be honest, I don't like that and I don't believe that. I know plenty of multi-seven-figure entrepreneurs that don't even have a social media. And I know the opposite. I know people who have 66,000 followers and aren't making money doing what they're doing. So I just want to disrupt the belief a little bit that it actually matters, because it doesn't. And I also know social proof does come up. So I don't want to discount the tool of social media is my whole point. And I want to talk today about what may matter more. And like all discussions, you can, throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks for you. But social media alone is not enough to create consistent growth. I'm going to talk about today why you must leverage other things to grow your business. There is so much more than meets the eye when it comes to social media. It takes a crap ton of work to even get people to your post, even more work to have them engage, which is a like on the post or comment. And to be honest, there is a crap ton of times where I spend a long time drafting a post and then I put it out there and it's like chirp, 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 crickets. It's one of the greatest things that I support entrepreneurs around. And honestly, I support myself. I want that immediate feedback. And so do people of oh, this changed somebody's lives. But truthful is the warmest clients I support are the ones that are voyeurs, ones that honestly don't engage, right? Because maybe they have emotions. They don't want to put out into the world, wow, that spoke with me. So they send behind the scenes messages, or they reach out months down the road, remember when you said that thing that actually mattered to me? Or I'll meet people and they'll say, I'm watching you, but I've never even seen them comment, right? So there is more than meets the eye when it comes to social media, and that can be beautiful and discouraging. And I want to explain why social media is a struggle, why it could be a struggle for you. So I want to first talk about earned media versus owned media. And I kind of learned of this vocabulary from my amazing friend, Sam Ings, who's a social media strategist. And she helped me to understand why what I was doing in my business was even more justified. So let me break down the two pieces of vocabulary. Earned media is sources of media that we have to go out and earn, pay for, or rely on other platforms to create. So for instance, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, we're posting our content on other people's media. So channel, right? Platform. That means we rely on them for our media or our posts to be seen. Same thing if we were to pitch ourselves to be in a magazine. So earned media is reliant on external people or platforms to be seen. Owned media, though, is the side where I believe most business owners, especially online business owners, are not spending enough time. Owned media is something that you create and own on your own platform. This would be the podcast. I create it, I build it, I put it on my website. My website is owned media. I built it, or somebody built it for me, but I own the rights to the domain. Nobody can impact me. Google can help my website be seen more, but I own it. Another form of owned media is a blog or a TV show that you produce. This is owned media. This is where I think the growth and opportunity, if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I don't have any owned media, then this is the red flag to support you. Inside of my business programs, we look at this. When I am inside the Business Accelerator, this is the second form of client attraction. I really encourage my girls to go seek out and build over time. When we first encounter a prospective client, they're starting to know us, to like us. You deepen the trust through owned media, because here on the podcast, you get to know my voice, you get to know my beliefs, you get to know my perspective, and you get to decide if you hate it or you love it. And if you hate it, you go somewhere else and you stop listening. If you love it, you're like, wow, she's speaking my tone and I want to be a part of it. The thing about earned media is you are self-reliant on somebody else's decisions and somebody else's actions and behaviors to determine your ability to be seen, for your content to be shown. So for instance, we recently had this day where Instagram shut down. Imagine if your whole business was built on Instagram, like my husband's, by the way. And now for 8 hours, he can't have any sales. Or if you're an influencer and what you put in your stories can't be seen for 8 hours, and you know that every hour you generate $100 based on your metrics and your KPIs, key performance indicators, by the way. right? Or what if they decide that they're no longer going to show women's content on the platform? What if they decide that if you're 40 or over, they're going to push I mean, these are outlandish, but I'm just saying, when you rely on earned media, you are at the mercy of the algorithms that run those platforms, and that impacts your ability to have reach on your prospective client. It literally impacts your impact. And again, it's also important to be there, but putting all of our eggs into the basket is limiting your growth because you're always going to be reliant on somebody else to make that happen. And so what do you do instead? Well, you double down on figuring out a strategy so you can own your media. I want to talk a little bit about how to do this and what could be a few options. How do you grow rather outside of Instagram, not just owned media, but in general? Well, number one is you build relationships. I know we are in a digital age where it's like literally no barrier of entry to building a business. You could literally decide today and hop on an IG account and possibly generate clients pretty fast. But there will never be a substitute for networking in whatever way that feels good to you and building relationships. So if you are not getting out there, whether it's online groups, whether it's in-person groups, if you're not reaching out to people and making contacts, potentially when you're ready, pitching yourself to be on a podcast, to teach in somebody's community, that is a next level form of growth. Building relationships helps deepen your reach because now they're like, oh, I know this girl. She's a business coach. You got to talk to her. She could totally help you, right? And if I met that person at a networking event, then this is the domino effect. So beyond social media, are you investing time and energy into building relationships in an organic way? And I teach so much about this inside of my Business Accelerator. And shout out to that community who's doing amazing things on building relationships right now. And we launched that in the fall. So you can always check out more of how to get on the wait list when I open the doors for that program in the show notes. And you can visit feelamazingnaked.com/accelerator and find us there. How else can you grow your business without relying on social media? Here's a big one we miss. Over-deliver the shit out of the people that are already your clients. Serve them. Ask them what they need. Interview them often. Collect then testimonials and really, really nurture that relationship so they become a walking advertisement for the work they've done with you. And they want to send people to you because they're like, oh, she changed my life so much. Or, oh, she did such an amazing job. Right? Sometimes I think the fear, and I fall into this too, is I'm so focused on the clients that I want to attract into my world later on that I'm like, remember, there's 45 in front of you right now. Like really, really serve them. And then word of mouth. I still, at 5-ish years in, word of mouth referrals are still the number one way I generate growth. They go out, they share my stuff. Maybe they share the podcast. They share a challenge. They share some sort of opportunity, and it is next level. So I want you to remember that. Serve those people. Grow your business in an organic way by being awesome at the clients you already have in front of you. And lastly is developing that owned media piece. And what I want to say is this isn't meant for you to like go, oh shit, I don't have this right now. But I want you to think about how could you weave this into your business? And it may or may not. I think it's applicable for everyone depending on what you do in business. So I'll use some examples when I share. This can be like a long-term goal. By the end of next year, potentially, you desire to have some sort of owned media that clients can come to, right? So this is the area that we would call content marketing. Content marketing means you create consistent content that helps you solve the pain points and the struggles of your clients so they keep wanting to come back. And that positions yourself as an expert and a go-to resource for whatever it is. Whether you're a home designer and you build a blog, whether you're a life coach and you have a podcast. Sound familiar? Whether you are a, let's say, architect and you have a TV show where you show your renos. These are all opportunities to establish yourself as an expert in your industry in a way where you own the rights to the content and nobody else can impact them. You can grow them based on SEO. You can grow them by getting on other people's podcasts and using a call to action to bring them closer to you. But creating a content strategy where you're releasing consistent content on your own platform is going to be a long-term solution to business growth. This is not a short-term grow fast strategy. I want to be really clear. This is like, I'm here for the whole season and not just a quarter of play. What happens when we create consistent content is this. We get people who want more of it. And we can start to serve people. We can ask some of those frequently asked questions. And instead of answering them, we can be like, oh yeah, I recorded a podcast episode about it. Go ahead and listen. And the most important thing about content creation and owned media platforms is consumers start their search for something on search engines. So if you think about if you were looking for a business coach, for many people, they might go to Business Coach in Phoenix or Best Business Coach and go to Google. Or if you're looking for like how to roast broccoli, you're probably going to go to Google first. And when you go to those search engines, you get responses. And the top responses have maximized their search engine optimization or their SEO, right? They know what they're doing when it comes to writing blog posts. But I don't want that to discourage you. Keep showing up and create consistent action because your people find you. They find you. But when consumers start on search engines, they will not be traced to a social media platform. Very rarely does that pop up. Perhaps Pinterest, but Pinterest is not a social media platform. It's much like the Google. It is a search engine site. You go to Pinterest and search for something. But creating consistent content will allow you to build that trust factor with your people consistently. And that you can do whatever you want with. You can share it on your social media. That's channels. That could be your weekly newsletter. And over time, you build this library of vast information that positions you as an expert in your field, no matter what field you are. And it helps people find you more. It extenuates your reach because you have the ability to be found outside of some of these other platforms. You have the ability to create content and have it be seen, not utilizing the algorithms. They're just like the sweet sauce, right? You can then share this content everywhere else over time. And so for those of you that are like, how do I begin? Where do I begin? Well, I just want to give a couple of thoughts to this. One is start small. You doesn't have to be weekly content. In the beginning, it could be monthly content. Quarterly content becomes monthly content, becomes bi-monthly, becomes weekly, right? So start small. And the best place to start with how to create content for these places is find out what your ideal client's pain points are. You know, they're not sure how to hang a mirror in a room for best positioning, right? So you create a piece of content that shows some of the things to think about to do that. They're not sure how to establish a morning routine. You create content to share that with them. You're a photographer and they don't feel confident in front of the camera. You create content. So you're thinking about your ideal client. So if you're not familiar with ideal client and what that work is, then you absolutely should join my business accelerator. We spend a lot of time getting to know our ideal client because that's literally the most important part of your business. Is knowing them so well, you build out things for them. And once you're able to lock in some of those pain points, that basically creates your strategy for growing the content marketing piece and moving beyond just social media to grow your business. So I hope this helps you. If you're feeling like you've hit a lull, like you feel like you're not making the traction, I think and feel confident that one of those three areas, building organic relationships, focusing on the clients that are in front of you, and building out some sort of consistent own media content creation are the next three best steps to take to start to see steady, consistent growth. And you know me, I'm here for sustainability. My mug always says it, sustainability is sexy. So if you have any questions on this episode, I would love to have the discussion with you. Head on over to Instagram. That's probably the best place to send me a message at A Walk My Way. Feel free to email me at support@feelamazingnaked.com. And if you are interested in our Business Accelerator cohort, head on over to feelamazingnaked.com/programs. You can find the accelerator and join our waitlist. I would love to support you. I have also a few one-to-one business coaching spots open. This is where we really just do solid work together to grow your business, see why you're feeling flat, look at some of the gaps and help you move into the next level. So for more on that, again, visit feelamazingnaked.com/programs and set up a time to chat. We will hop on a call and make sure we are an amazing fit to do this work together. And if you love this episode, I would love for you to subscribe to the podcast on whatever favorite podcasting app you have. That way you will be sure to get the newest episodes delivered to you for free as soon as they come out.